All right, what's up, guys? This is Ruben from TG, and what I want to show you today, I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller. What I want to show you today is how we use Gextron to find the best key levels in the market as of right now. Okay, and so there's a couple risk measurement tools that we like to use, but the best way to figure it out when you first enter Gextron is that when you look for a ticker, in this case, we're looking at SPXW, which is the SPX S&P 500 index. We look for first the biggest bar sticks, all of them. So that means, in this case, 56.75, 56.50, 56.25, 5600, 5750, right? And in here in the dashboard, I tell you, hey, this is max pain, okay? And this is max reward. So max pain is the tallest negative bar, max reward is the tallest positive bar. And you could think of them almost like magnets, okay? But each one has a significant meaning. If price is coming towards max pain, like if it's heading down, then consider that a big area of support, okay? And if it's going towards max reward, think of that as a huge uh, wall resistance, like a resistance wall, okay? And so what I do with this information and how we trade it within how we trade this information is that we go to our tool here, and I'm using trading view. You can use whatever charting tool you desire. And I'm going to start drawing horizontal lines. Okay. And I'm going to color them. Yeah, we'll use this color right here. Okay. So we'll use this color. And it said here, if we go back to our Gextron tool, it said max pain is 5650. So let's mark that. I'm going to go here, 5650. And we're going to label this as max pain. I like to use acronyms. So MP stands for max pain. And I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to also record max reward at the moment. So 5750. Okay. 5750. And just like I said, just because I said max pain is a big wall of support, right? If it's coming down, you can see prices coming towards max pain. It doesn't mean it can't go lower. If it does go lower, then you need to look for the next area of interest, which I will show you how to do that. And I'm going to just mark this here as MR for max reward. And so that's that. Okay, now that we have those levels, we want to mark this yellow line right here is spot price. So when this snapshot was taken, it's going to tell you, hey, when this data was received, we were at 5660.8 for the SPX. Okay, so just know that this yellow line just represents where we are in this histogram. And at the moment, you can see that we're heading towards 5650, which is the biggest, uh, the biggest negative bar, right? Which could represent as support if we do tap into that. And then also, what are areas of interest around it? That's really important, because if it does go below that, you want to make sure that you have the next price target. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be 56.75 and 56.25. So let's mark those lines. 56.75. And you can see here, it starts telling you a story. Like, these areas do have a significant meaning to them. 56.45. I believe that's what that was. Oh, it might have been 25. 25. Okay. Okay, 25. So this is what we're looking at right here. And so now that we have this information, these are the biggest key levels. Now let's figure out where is entrance. What you have to understand about this histogram chart is that there is negative bars and positive bars, right? But what you want to understand is, like, when is the bearish sentiment going? When is it turning bearish, and when is it turning bullish, right? And so right here, if you look at Gextron, I automatically tell you, hey, we're actually put dominated, like we're very bearish as of right now. And if you don't hover over the chart, you can see here we have a negative 27.44 billion of negative gamma exposure. Okay, so this is really bad. This is just shows that we're very, very bearish. And if we just scope out, you can see here in the chart, like we've been bearish for a while here with the SPX. So there's still more downside until we start heading towards those like positive histogram bars. Then it's really hard to be kind of bullish. Um, but it doesn't mean that you can't trade between the areas of interest, which I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so entrance, like again, where does it start becoming bearish? Okay, so it's right here. If we look at Gextron, I'm telling you right here, I'm gonna say 56.80 because every entrance for us is when you start from the like that first negative bar before turning bullish, right? And everything else to the left has to be negative bars. We don't want to see things like, okay, it's negative and then it's positive and then it's positive around. Like that's not a good entrance level. It has to be like this. It has to be where it starts negative and it goes on negative. That's a clean transition. Okay, so for us that's 56.80, and what we're gonna do with that is that we're gonna mark that level too because that's a big key level right there. 56.80, and oops, I believe it was 56.80. Okay, yeah, 56.80 because then we have, so it is near this 75 level. And what I like to do is I like to mark this as entrance because that lets me know that this is the point in time as of right now, based on the option flow data, that this is where we start becoming negative. As long as we're below this negative transition line, your thesis should be pretty bearish. You should be having a bearish sentiment towards this given ticker. Okay, just as it's important to figure out where entrance level is, we want to figure out where is P-trans. And like I said, you want to start in the, just like we did with N-trans, you want to do the same with P-trans. You want to start positive and everything to the right has to be positive. Now, in this case, you're going to see things like this where we may see some negative bars like this, but that's okay. That's really far out. So that to me doesn't even matter. So it's not very significant at the moment. But if you see something like this where you start negative and then positive right away and then negative and then positive, like that's not a good transition to either N-trans or P-trans. So in this case, I'm going to mark P-trans right here at 57.20. Okay. And I'm going to copy this line. I'm going to say 57.20 is P-trans. And I'm going to label this as well too as P-trans. Okay. And so for me, this is to let you know, hey, like this is where we become bullish when we're above P-trans, and this is when we become bearish when we're below N-trans. Okay. And essentially, how you play this trade, how you make money using these key levels is that you want to go level to level, right? So for example, let me get my drawing tool here. Right now, as we are approaching these key levels, especially N-trans, this could be a good retest for a good more downside to hit max pain. Okay, essentially what you want to do is try to go from N-trans to max pain. Okay, and so this may require you to do some swing trading or some sort of short-term swing trading, or maybe even a day trade, right? Depending on the volatility of the market. Okay, and so these are really important. This is all real time. This is all happening as of right now, March 20th. Okay, and you're seeing this, that Gextron is going to update this every 15 minutes and it's going to keep you updated. So in case, for whatever reason, something bullish happens and then P-trans now is like right here, hey, you might want to start changing your thesis from bearish to maybe bullish. Okay, it's just to keep you updated, making sure that you're not falling behind on historical patterns, and that you're using forward looking metrics to continue giving you that edge in the market. Okay, it's all about having forecasting, forward looking tools, and that's what Gextron aims to do as it's receiving option flow data from the market, right? Okay, so this is it, right? Now, what I'm going to tell you here is that, well, a good question is like, would you trade between N trends and P trends. This is really important. You know, if it's looking like a flag, right? Like it looks like it's flagging now, it could potentially go up higher. Would you trade that? And I would tell you no. Stay away from anything that's between N trends and P trends. This is what we call the drunken sailor area, because price can be wicky, it could be choppy. You can see it right here. It's just chopping between here, it's chopping between here, fast reversals or slow grind down. It's unpredictable. It's just better to the best way to have the highest probability using these levels provided by Gextron is to just play below entrance, okay? Go from negative level to negative level to negative level, or vice versa, go to P trans and then go to positive level, from positive level to positive level. These are the easiest ways with the highest probabilities, okay? And that is how you find the key levels, and this is how you make money, and this is how you trade these levels by just implementing this in your chart and using Gextron, okay? And that's it for this video. In the next video, I'll discuss about how to determine whether we are in chop zone or how to avoid these like low momentum short uh, kickbacks that we might encounter in the market. Okay, and so we'll discuss that in the next video.